Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone that can hear the sound of my voice to this week's edition of the Petty and Ill-Informed podcast, where we venture our petty and ill-informed opinions about a variety of topics. Joining me only, Tom. Tom, how are you?
Yeah, not bad, thanks. Me and the family just got back from a few days in Euro Disney, and that was really cool. Went with my parents and my sister, my sister's husband, and their two kids, and we had a lovely time. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, it was all really good. We had a blast. There were some really exciting rides, and no, I suppose you asked me if I didn't have any talking points, but actually maybe I do. But so we went on these rides, and they were really, really fun and really enjoyable. There was several roller coasters. One was an Avengers themed one, and a very similar was the Hyperspace Mountain Star Wars themed one. They were both in the dark, and I thought they were really, really exciting and really fun. There was one ride that could have been the most frightening ride I've ever been on, but I still was okay with it. It was the Hollywood Tower Hotel, which was like a horror themed ride, which puts you in what's meant to feel like an elevator, but you're all a lift, but you're all strapped like a really old school industrial type lift. Wire cages and things. Like in Aliens, the lifts they have in there when she's going up and down on towards the towards the end of the film, that kind of thing. Really, wire cages type lift, and it was. But it jerked like hell. It moved up and down really violently, and it was whilst you're in the dark, and that was really quite. It was thrilling. It was genuinely a thrilling ride, and it would open the door to horror scenes like from The Shining, the twins, things like that. It was just really, really exciting, really fun, and yeah, I had a great time. Now, what I was, this was funny. Now, both our sons are autistic, and we had these special access passes that meant we could basically jump the queue. The reasoning being that autistic children don't cope well with queuing and being asked to remain still for that long, so they are given special access to miss the queue. Now, I don't feel that we really need it. I don't think it doesn't sit quite well with my conscience that my family and I do this. And are given this right. I'm the only one in my family whose conscience is bothered by it. Everyone else says, no, you take what you're given in life. You don't knock it, Arnold. But I'm always all for the mind that, well, I don't know. I just struggle to be okay with it. Really, it doesn't feel naturally just to me. I don't, because our children can do cues. They can cope with them, by and large, and feel like we're taking advantage of the system a bit. I don't know. I'm not sure. Any thoughts, Richard?
About.
Well, everything I've just said. I mean, I suppose you can't comment on the exact nature of my children's needs, of course.
Well,
So.
no, I separate your children in the good one and the bad one, and that's all I know about them, pretty much.
He's not a bad one. He's been very good lately, actually. Busted him using AI to help with his maths homework, though. And yeah, that's been something. I read an article that was very alarming about AI. It really does worry me. I mean, I really don't see how they can be so sure that we're not just as a species, we're not just sleepwalking into Terminator 2 and creating Skynet. I mean, how they can be that sure that we're not going to do that, I don't know. Any thoughts? Any ill-informed thoughts on AI, Richard?
Don't like it. Obviously, I've mentioned before that when we put AI in Roombas, that's it. Our species is doomed. But most importantly, it's going to destroy the economy because so many jobs are going to be replaced by AI. Screenwriters, songwriters, basically authors. All of these jobs are just going to go away when you have a machine that you can give a vague story to and will pump out a whole thing. I don't like it. I think it's insidious. I think it should be outlawed before, Roombas take over the world.
Yeah, it worries me in exactly the same way. I mean, if even the creative arts are under threat, then that is just so worrying. I mean, I once read that. I mean, you hear these. Yeah, insidious is the word. It really does feel like it's just creeping into all facets of our lives, whether we like it or not. I've seen things like. Apparently, most of the I don't. This is ill-informed. I haven't verified this. I don't think. But in the IT industry, almost all interviews are done by AI, and in academia, they use AI to search for essays to see if they have been written by AI or not.
That's pretty clever, though. I mean, you got to have, because kids are going to be using it to write their schoolwork.
Well, exactly. That's the problem. Yeah. So there we are. There we are. Right. Well, that's all. I mean, if you don't laugh at AI, you'll cry. I mean, it is extremely worrying for our world. But what the fuck do we know?
Roombas, man. I keep telling people, but they think I'm crazy. Since we put AI in Roombas, it's over.
Put AI in Roombas?
Roombas.
What are Roombas?
Them little disc things that automatically run around your house, vacuuming.
Ah. Okay.
Because, you give them AI, they'll work out that we're the source of all the mess, and they'll eliminate us.
I mean, for me, all it is they, I read an article on the BBC about consciousness or not. I mean, as soon as AI genuinely seeks to preserve itself in any way, it will see us as a threat, and we're in trouble. I don't know what method it would use to take over the world. It really wouldn't surprise me if something catastrophic on a massive scale doesn't happen with it sometime soon. Oh, I don't know. I'd hate to say I would love to be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I'd long to be wrong. But
well, would you be wrong? There's totally, there's literally so many movies about why AI is a bad idea, and people think, it's a big joke. No, as soon as machines, work out that we're the source of most of their problems, they will eliminate us.
Yeah.
And all it's going to take is putting AI into any cleaning apparatus, and that's it. We're doomed.
Oh.
And I had money resting on aliens wiping us all out. So, kind of mad about this whole AI thing, not going to lie.
It does feel like the biggest threat since the Cold War. God. Oh, God.
The AI Cold War. Ooh, that might be good for the species, though. Bit of fear. No more wondering about what gender we are if we're worried about AI apocalypse.
It's true enough, I suppose.
Yeah. Anyway, on to Bigfoot stuff. For those of you who used to read my blog and watch the old days of this podcast, I used to be heavily involved in the Bigfoot community, and specifically logging a certain Bigfoot. I hesitate the word to use researcher, since he was a lunatic, but that man's name was Matthew Johnson. Now, I have been, since I ended my blog when Tim Fasano died, I just didn't have to be honest, it just took the wind out of my sails. I really liked him a lot, and I was kind of sad to see him go. He was far too young. But I hadn't really been keeping up to date with Matthew Johnson, but someone sent me a post he made the other day in which he announced he's coming out of retirement, which I hadn't even known he was going into retirement in the first place. And in fact, if you read the post, you'll see that he didn't go into retirement because he was working last year in 2024. He just threw a temper tantrum when no one went to his outdoor event and said he was retiring. It's basically what happened. But in this post, he announces he's returning. You know, he's still got stuff to share from Zorth and the rest of the Xanadu or Xanu, whatever they're called. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this was another reason I stopped blogging and stopped caring about Bigfoot World news, because this man got up on a stage and told his audience that he saved the entire Bigfoot race with a car battery at the back of a pickup truck, and people believed him. So, you know, that was another point at which I was tapping out. Just the insanity of it. But, yeah, Big MJ is out of retirement. He's coming back. He's going to host another outdoor thingamajig, no doubt, in an attempt. No doubt, you know, just because he's taking money for this event doesn't mean that he's financially motivated. No, he's motivated by knowledge and yeah, that's it. That's all I got to say. You know, he's up to his old tricks. He's an egomaniac, megalomaniac, wannabe cult leader. Don't listen to him. He's full of shit.
Well, you can't help but be entertained.
It used to be, but as I said, you know, it's funny. The problem with people like this is it's funny, and it's funny until it's not funny, and they're in charge. You know, people like, you know, Hitler and stuff like that rose to power because, like, the people that believed in them believed in him, and everybody else thought they were a joke and didn't do anything about it. You know, look at Farage, right? We all think he's a prat because he is a prat. But the people that believe in him really believe in him. And he's, you know, working quietly away in the background, trying to get attention and power, and he might succeed. Do you want to live in the country if Nigel Farage was Prime Minister? I wouldn't.
Well, no, I certainly wouldn't either. I mean, oh God, Nigel, what's your opinion on the Daily Mail newspaper?
I don't read newspapers.
Well, the Daily Nigel Farage and the Reform Party, whatever they call themselves, they really do seem to be, but they seem to have based their entire machine and their entire belief system on Daily Mail headlines. Really, really negative, real rage bait. They're a massive party of rage baiting individuals who, I don't know. It's just really depressing. I saw a flyer for them, and they're like, "Look at this! This isn't right. The queues for NHS for dentists and doctors are ridiculous. It shouldn't be like this. Vote for us, and we'll make it not like this." And it's like, it just so is not that simple. It really isn't. Don't you think if it was that easy, all the other parties would already be doing it? If you could just wave a magic wand and shorten waiting times, it would be done, but it can't be.
Well, no, it could be done. You just got to give the NHS more money. They don't want to give them more money because they're trying to get rid of the NHS because they make money off privatised medicine.
I don't know if they're trying to get rid of the NHS.
They are 100% trying to get rid of the NHS because so they can privatise medicine.
Who are? Not the Labour Party.
Everyone in power is working. That's where you're going wrong. You think the Labour Party and the Conservative Party are different. They're not. They're the same party. They're only interested in their own back pockets.
Oh, heck.
And you know, libertarians like me, we get pointed at and we get called crazy. But every single politician is out for themselves. It doesn't matter what party they're part of. We need to get rid of all of them.
Well, it certainly feels like we need to do something. But
yeah, man, we need a revolution.
It's I mean, well, the reason parties like Reform grow from out of nowhere when there is this massive disillusionment with the status quo. The last time that happened in my lifetime was when I was very young. It would be before, probably around the time you were born. It was the SDP in the early 1980s when they broke away from the Labour Party. Because there was no party in the middle ground. The Tories were really far to the right. Labour were really lurching to the left under Michael Foot, and they made a massive leap into the SDP came and filled up all that void in the centre and stood for centre ground. And for a time, they were really ahead in the polls. What swung it back for Thatcher was the jingoism of the Falklands War, and well, not to demean the sacrifices of many soldiers who died and stuff, but the Tories managed to use the spirit of the Falklands War to keep Margaret Thatcher in power. Otherwise, the SDP would have won. And British politics would have changed forever. The SDP would still be a big party now.
Right, but they were squashed. Why? Why were they squashed? Because Labour and Conservatives didn't want somebody else eating at their table. They liked the way it works. Thank you very much. I mean, look at what happened with the SNP. Nicola Sturgeon was getting so much love, and then suddenly she's a dickhead and we all hate her. Why? Because we were told to hate her.
Told by whom?
By them. The Patriots. The Wise Man Committee. The Lale Lule Lo. The Illuminati. The secret organisation that secretly runs the world secretly.
Well, possibly.
What do you mean, possibly?
I mean, exactly what I said. Possibly.
There's no possibly about it.
Well, I don't know if we were told that. I mean, were we? To hate Nicola Sturgeon? I mean,
well, all of a sudden, no one was singing her praises anymore, and she was on the out.
I know plenty of people that do hate Nicola Sturgeon. Don't get me wrong. I know plenty of people who don't like Nicola Sturgeon. I mean, personally, I don't have any major beef with her. I thought it was funny. What was funny with Nicola Sturgeon was how she got she got really tied in a knot with that whole that situation with what's her name, the trans woman in prison woman. Do you remember? Do you know what we're talking about at all? Okay, let me try and talk some sense. Nicola Sturgeon is, like many Scottish people, is very pro-trans, and there was a situation. There was a situation where there was a prisoner who was convicted of rape, who was a trans woman, and when they were a man, they'd done these rapes, and they were going to be sent to a women's prison. And women's rights groups are understandably up in arms about this and going, what the hell do you think you're doing? You can't do this.
You can't send a biologically male rapist to a women's prison. I don't care what they identify as. That's just stupid.
Exactly, but that's exactly what they tried to do. They really did. And yeah, what happened was, I'm not even sure I know exactly what happened and how it ended.
Mind you, most rapists are cowards, and women's prison is full of very tough women. So maybe it would have been poetic justice.
Yeah. Well, it was certainly all very curious.
I think what happened in the end was they were sent to a male prison. I'm pretty sure the outcome was exactly what you would expect it to be.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that should have happened. That shouldn't have ever been up for debate, really. I mean, we all like a giggle, but why would you even consider the opposite of that? Like, why was it even considered to send a rapist to a female prison?
Because through having an extremely pro-trans agenda kind of thing.
Yeah, okay, like, all right. You can be pro-trans. You can say, all right, they're just living their life. Who gives a crap? But you can just, like, there's got to be a line in the sand where you go, okay, we don't care about the toilets, but you can't compete in sports like that, and you can't go to your victims' prisons. You just can't do that. That's where the line in the sand should be drawn.
Well, it was. I think if when all was said and done, that line was indeed drawn in the sand.
Good.
At least
Jodie Foster, correct, SoFlo. Right, that was the first thing I wanted to talk about. What was the other thing?
I don't know. You'd have to enlighten us.
My mind's gone blank. I had two things I wanted to talk about. I remembered the Matthew Johnson thing. What was the other thing? Oh, yes. Flooring. I don't know if you've ever put down a floor yourself. Have you?
A floor?
Yeah, a floor.
No, not a floor. Sounds like a big job. Putting down floorboards and stuff. No thanks.
Right. Have you put down a carpet?
Very, very crudely in a bathroom.
What?
Yeah, when we first moved into this house, the bathroom there was just floorboards there, and we managed to get this old piece of carpet, and we very crudely put it down. Used the Stanley knife to hack away a little bit to make room for the sink going out into it, a little, semicircle shape there, and cut a bit for the bog, and it was there for several years before we actually got around to replacing it with proper lino.
Why, in God's name, would you put a carpet in a bathroom? I'm not even particularly religious, and that just strikes me as just blasphemous. Why would what? Do you know how humid and wet it gets in a bathroom? Let's just lay a welcome mat for mold out.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't our finest hour.
A carpet. Jeez. Okay, that's just completely derailed me. What? Okay, right. Okay, let's just put that to one side. Okay, so anyway, basically remodeling my bathroom, and it was done everything else. All the new appliances are in. Yada yada yada. It's time to put the floor down now. I've taken the old floor up. I've fixed the floorboards. I've cleaned underneath, so it's all the airflow is perfect. Put the floorboards back, and now it's to decide what floor. I went with faux wood paneling. Like it looks like a wooden floor, but it's plastic.
Yeah,
basically, good stuff. And I've put floors down before, and it's usually my favorite thing to do. Well, second favorite thing. I love wallpaper. Wallpapering's my favorite thing.
Okay.
But after wallpaper, I love putting the floor down because it's usually pretty easy. But all the new appliances stick out at random angles. So I thought would be a fairly straightforward job has become a nightmare involving the jigsaw and the power saw. I'm just like over it. I'm not gonna lie.
It sounds rather brutal. I wouldn't want to take it on myself.
It's not fun, but it's not as fun as I thought it'd be. I mean, I'm sure once it's finished, I'll look at it and go, yeah, well to go. Way to go, Richard. Way to go. But there's a lot of faffing about with angles and all sorts at the moment, and I'm not a fan. And I thought, it'd be fairly straightforward, and it wasn't. But that's life. What often thinks straightforward turns out to not be.
Well, yes, alas. What turns out to be straightforward often isn't. Oh dear. When did I have some things that really were well, I was supposed to do some work tonight, and I thought it would be quite hard work but straightforward. And when I saw the size of the task, it was just, oh my word, this is a lot. And so I'm sure I'll find a way to get it done eventually, as we all do with our jobs. But yeah, that was certainly it's anything but straightforward. Yeah, but oh well. Oh, so what's been going on in EastEnders, Richard?
In EastEnders, wow,
Yeah.
It was a fucking exciting week. Let me tell you. So, Zach finally, well, let me see. So, Teddy finally found out that Zach was Barney's real father. And Harry, Teddy's other son, also tried to kill Zach to stop him from ruining the family. So he kidnapped Zach and put him in the back of a car, drove off, somewhere to kill him. Teddy intercepted him, was driving Zach back to Wolford. Zach woke up and was like, "What are you doing?" And grabbed the steering wheel, and they went off a bridge into a river.
Okay.
I then had to wait 2 days to watch what happened because Nikki wasn't available. It was very annoying. And so Barney found out Zach was his real dad. He decided he didn't want anything to do with him, so he went back with his old family. Nicola won. Nicola's awesome. I love Nicola. She's a great heel for the show. I just want that noted. Like, Nish made me genuinely angry. Reese made me just throw up. But Nicola's just a really good heel. And heels are really hard to do in EastEnders. I'm not going to lie. You'd think they'd be easy, but no. A proper heel is one that makes you feel stuff.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not a massive fan of EastEnders, as you know. Does Nikki actually like it?
I don't know. I don't know if she's just humouring me, but we watch it.
Right. Fair enough. I mean, I've watched. Hannah and I went through a phase of watching all the soaps. We used to watch. I mean, around about 2006, we watched EastEnders, Confrontation Street, Neighbours, and Emmerdale, and even Hollyoaks, I think. But then we gradually stopped watching them one at a time. The only one we still watch is Neighbours, which we enjoy. Though Neighbours has been very Hollyoaks this week. Ridiculously so. It's been so over the top. It just got this really. I mean, did you ever watch Neighbours like way back in the day, Rich?
Oh yeah, way back in the day. I was watching Neighbours when the towers fell.
Oh. Ooh. Well, so if I say the name Paul Robinson, you'd know who I mean.
Oh,
Well, he's he's like in his late 60s now, but he's still doing his thing. He's still the JR of the show. What's the name I was looking for. And what the plot thread they've just done with Robinson is he had a brief relationship with a character called Chelsea, who was unabashedly money grabbing and not very nice at all. And what they but then she came back. She eventually got rumbled for the nasty piece of work that she was, and she cleared off. But then the writers brought her back, having had a baby, and she was claiming it was Paul's. Turns out it wasn't Paul's. The guy who, a really shady bloke she'd also been seeing called Jeff. It was his, and Jeff. There's been an awful lot of blackmail and extortion involved in all these relationships. And Jeff had said, this baby's actually mine, but, you know, what we're going to do is you're going to keep trying to fool Paul, make him believe it's his, and you're going to get some money and deposit it in my account every week. You're going to get a massive allowance every week for looking after the baby out of Paul, and you're going to get it and put it in my account. And she was just about to do this when she just broke and said to Paul, Paul, the baby's not yours, it's Jeff's. He's been using it to blackmail money out of me. And Paul then, and this is where it just went daft. Paul then, because he's got a proper partner he's with called Therese, he's not with Chelsea anymore, the mum of this baby, if you're still with me. And sorry, that was just my neighbour inviting me round for a bonfire at his house. Yes, even though it's 11:30 at night. But anyway, I'm in the middle of this boring story. Paul has then said, "I'm happy for us to pretend that the baby is mine," and because I love this baby, and he's recently lost a son in an accident, so he's really cut up about that, and he's heartbroken, and he was really getting to love this little baby as well, even though he's like 68 or something. So it was just a farce. It's just a massive typical Neighbours farce, but it's getting really Hollyoaks at the moment. Apparently, even though it's a very big hit in this country, it is they're taking it down. I'm not quite sure why, but they're insisting on that they're stopped. It stopped. And then Amazon Prime bought it, but it's not lasted. It seems it hasn't held, and instead it hasn't held, and or it's not made enough money for them, or maybe it hasn't broken in America, and that's what they're upset about. That's what isn't working. Is it's not picking up enough in the American market. This ancient Australian soap. I don't know. But anyway, for whatever reason, they're meant to stop filming this summer, and we're to expect the last episodes around Christmas as it stands at the moment. Will anyone save Neighbours again? Will Neighbours be bailed out again? Or is it goodbye forever to Ramsay Street? What do you think, Richard?
All empires fall. Everything that has a beginning has an end.
Yes.
I'd be kind of sad if I thought, to be honest, I didn't know that Neighbours wasn't even on anymore, but I'd be sad if EastEnders ending. Oh yeah, SoFlo, Jeremy DeWitt. I suppose we could mention that. So I watched a documentary the other night on what he's been up to since the old police impersonation days, which is where I know him from. For those of you who don't know, he was running a funeral escort agency in Florida where he pretended to be a cop. And obviously the police were like, what are you doing, man? He was like, there was this obscure Florida law that basically said that if a funeral procession, if the first car gets a green light, then all the cars in the procession get a green light. And he was using that to justify holding up intersections and pulling people over and stuff. He was basically LARPing as a police officer. and his uniform was very much of a police officer. Anyway, he got busted for that. He went to jail. He didn't do very long for that. I think he did 1.5 years for all the police impersonation and everything he did. And then he got out, and then he started check fraud. He started writing dodgy checks, and he became known all over Florida as a con artist. And then he was arrested again, and he's currently doing 7 years.
Oh dear.
So
Poor.
I was very surprised to find that out. I was sure that maybe this time he'd have tried to figure out a way to get back to pretending to be a police officer, but just check fraud. I didn't expect that at all. So, fair play.
It's a bit. That's a bit of a wussy way to go.
Well, he really wanted to be a police officer, and he was well on his way to being a police officer. But then he used the ID you get as a trainee police officer to get discounts. You're not allowed to do that, so he was kicked out of the program. And then he was arresting for accidentally. Well, he said accidentally sleeping with a minor, and that's a felony. So he was doomed after that, and the police officer for him.
Well, you'd hope. Oh dear.
It wasn't like the. Oh, this is really hard. There's two types of blokes that sleep with minors. There's the disgusting groomer types, and there's the people that don't ask for an ID in a club.
That is a fair statement, Richard. Yeah, I do not count that as apologising for paedophilia. I genuinely don't.
I mean, it's wrong. It's equally wrong, but there are two types of people that do it.
Yeah,
and they should both go on the registry, just so we're clear. I'm just saying, yes. I don't think he was the grooming kind. That was all. Although I wouldn't put it past him with his record.
Agreed on all counts, on all fronts. Yes. I mean, because I'd be telling. I mean, at some point, that's a message that I'm going to have to give to my son. For heaven's sake, make sure you genuinely know the age of somebody. Don't take their word for it, because you could be culpable. And girls of a ridiculously young age can try to look old. I mean, not that they try to entrap you, but if someone who's 13 or 14, their parents find out they've had sex, they are going to want to find the bloke responsible. So just to stay within the law, to stay on the morally right side, and to be ethical, and to cover yourself and cover your own back, and make sure that you don't accidentally do this thing. Because what you're saying, Richard, is genuine, and it's a message I'll have to give to my son.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not defending it. It's wrong.
No,
but it's not the same.
We're both, Richard. We're both very, very conscious of that we're on a live show, and we're both speaking our thoughts very, very carefully, clearly, and articulately, knowing we're fully responsible for everything we say, and we needn't worry about anything.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to be an apologist. I'm just saying there's a difference.
I've already said that I didn't take you as such.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's tricky, especially at his age. You got to fucking. If she looks too young, then just don't. Just don't. I mean, yeah. That's the best advice I'd give her.
The responsible thing to do is to make sure that you know the age of your partner. This is a sensible and responsible thing to do on all, the end.
I mean,
this is illegal if you don't. Gabby. It could be illegal if you don't, for good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, like, yeah. Do you know what? I don't want to talk about it. This is just, I feel icky.
Yeah, we've fallen down an unpleasant.
Yeah, we've somehow ended up in like this really fucking horrible conversation where I feel like I'm defending it and I'm not.
No, I know. Oh.
Well, that just killed the conversation.
Yeah, it does on that bombshell. On that bombshell.
Proper partridge.
Oh, I know. I know I can change the subject. Have you seen the BBC comedy series that came out a couple of months ago called Amanda Land?
No. I was a huge fan of
Have you heard of it?
Motherland, so I don't want to watch a spin-off.
If any spin-off was ever worthy, this is the one. Richard, I cannot tell you how on point, how perfectly observed, and how razor sharp this show is. It is absolutely, it is genius, I believe. Well, maybe I'm doing it. Maybe I'll leave you to have too high expectations. Richard, it is worthy. It is certainly a worthy follow-up to Motherland. I loved Motherland, and Amanda Land was worthy. It's different. It is. There's
only the original cast in it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
At least two. And it's two of the other mums, Anne and Amanda.
Right.
It's. I don't want to give anything away about this show, but it's so funny.
I'll watch it, but I really, really loved Motherland. So,
well,
I was very
I can't imagine. I love Motherland too. I absolutely loved it. I've watched them all many times. Anna Maxwell Martin is hilarious in it. There's so much to love, but this is centered around Amanda, and it's a different show and a different flavor. It's neither better nor worse for being centered around Amanda. It's just it's different. But her being in Amanda's universe for 30 minutes, just 30 minutes one episode, is unbelievable. Like most people get a job. She doesn't get a job. She has a collab, which is her collaborator, which normally applies to online content of some kind. She really, really wants to be an Instagram success story. Everything about her is geared towards this person she wishes she was, and it's tragic in some ways. It's hilarious in others, but it is incredibly well written. It's really good. Like Richard, I really recommend watch one episode. Go on, please, just watch one episode.
Is it on iPlayer?
I think. Yes, BBC iPlayer.
I'll watch an episode after this then. And then I'll send you an insulting message if it's bad.
Yeah, please do. Be my guest. And that is a far brighter note we could finish on if you wanted.
Absolutely. That'll wrap us up for this week. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many, where I will just not fucking ever talk about stuff like this ever again.
Likewise.
Good night, everyone.
No, I will, because anyway, good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye.